Now, you are here as a co-founder of the Story Club, which enables South Africans in Cape Town to tell their story. Am I getting this right? Is it South Africans in Cape Town? What is the Story Club?
Yes, well, the Story Club it was founded by a group of us who are professional storytellers. And we felt the art of storytelling is dying, you know, the art of oral storytelling, people just coming together in the evening and sharing stories. So we decided to set up the Story Club with the help of some friends from the International School of Storytelling. And it's really a space for people to come and share stories, personal stories, folk tales, fictional stories. It's just that the storyteller must tell a story, not read a story. That's really at the heart of it.
Now, speak to us a little bit more about the practice of telling a story. There's something magical about it. And unfortunately, for many of us, the last time we were told a story or told a story was when we were children or telling them to our children. But it goes so much beyond that.
No, I think storytelling is it's a human trait. We are telling stories all the time. And over the ages, stories have been created and told to teach. When you start and say, once upon a time, immediately a sense of community is created, and it binds the people in that room together. Stories are created to challenge people, to pass on history, to teach, for entertainment. And there's something magical about being in that space and in that moment hearing a story that is told to you. And every single person in the room goes away with something different. And I think that's the beauty of storytelling.
Now, tell us a little bit more about the Story Club. How does it operate? And where would we be able to get involved, either by listening or sharing stories?
Okay. So the Story Club at the moment operates at St. Mark's in District 6. Just underneath the church, there's the Undercroft. It's a beautiful, intimate space. And it's every first Wednesday. No, I lie. Every last Wednesday of the month from 7 to 9 p.m. And what we try and do is we have an open mic for the first hour where anybody in the audience can come and share a story. And you can tell a story as long as you're not reading a story and as long as it's not longer than 8 minutes. And then in the second half, we have a professional storyteller who will come and entertain or talk to the group. And we've had some really interesting storytellers. We've had Julie Southwood, who's a local Cape Townian. We've had Khadija Higa, who's a poet, telling stories and poems about her life and issues that are really pertinent about race and being a woman in Cape Town. We've had Tata Johnson Mlambo, who was on Robben Island for about 20 years, and he was a member of the PAC. And he has told his story, The Mother of All Tears, and people have been completely captivated by his time on Robben Island. So we've had a whole range of storytellers come, and we continue to do that. Have an hour with a professional storyteller and an hour for anybody to share a story.
Philippa, why is there that all-important distinction about being able to tell the story instead of reading it?
There's something really magical about telling a story, because when you're telling a story, you are present. I'm sitting in the space and there you are in front of me, and as a storyteller, what that requires of me is I have to be present. I have to know the story. I have to know the story even more than I know what I'm going to tell you. I know the characters in the story. I know the place. I know the situations. And as I tell the story, I am interacting with you as the audience. And sometimes in that moment, as I'm working with you and the audience, something changes in the story, because I sense that that's what the audience needs. So there's something about that. Someone once said that we're invited to watch TV, and the TV knows many, 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 many stories. But our storyteller who stands in front of us knows us. And I think that's the beauty. The storyteller intuitively knows what story to tell or how to tell the story. And there's a dialogue happening between them and the audience.
Now, of course, on the last Wednesday of each month, you can experience the Story Club, but really, this is a model that can be replicated in homes, in communities, in schools. Is this something that the Story Club would encourage? How would I get a storytelling culture, let's call it for want of a better word, ignited in my own community?
By starting. I think just start. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to a little girl's 8-year-old, an 8th birthday party. And I went there and told stories. And for me, the biggest gift of that moment was another little 8-year-old girl who was a friend of the hostess. She came up to me at the end. She gave me a big hug. And then she pulled some beads out of her headband. And she says, I really wanted to give you a gift to say thank you for the stories, but this is all I have. And so I have 4 or 5 little plastic beads that came off a little girl's headbands, but it feels like gold because she felt that the stories that were told moved something. I mean, and all of us remember a time maybe with your grandparents or your parents or your friend's parents or a teacher, just sitting around with somebody saying, once upon a time. And traveling to all sorts of different places. And it starts with telling, just doing it, just telling the story. And also personal stories. I mean, have you ever sat with someone and they just tell you, you know, one day this and this happened to me, and you get captivated by their story, but at the end of that story, you see them differently. And you see the real person behind all the masks and all the things you had projected onto them. And I think that's the beauty of the storytelling, and it only starts by us opening that space and inviting people in.
Now, can we find the Story Club online, or if somebody's watching this video and they really want more information or they want to get in contact, how can they do that?
We're online, on Facebook, the Story Club Cape Town. Yeah, that's our at the moment, our biggest web presence. I think we will look at a blog at some time. And our, I can't remember our email address.
That's all right. I think I will link to the Facebook page below this video.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.